Boy, you talk about juggling everything around. When you got Matty here with us today, and then my special guest is here, and I can't tell him nothing. Hell, he might put me in jail. Moon Griffon Show, great to have you with us. It's Open Forum Friday, that I don't know if we'll take a call. How you like that?
You guessed it up.
Attorney General Jeff Landry is in the House for the first hour. Talk a little bit about what happened at the Bond Commission yesterday. Also, remember I told you that, and I'm not going to get into this with Jeff, of course, but I tell people I'm going to be buck naked on this constitutional convention. I got Brandon said if I don't
that's an image to go into your weekends.
Listen, Brandon said if I don't get away from that, he's quitting. So now I got to say I'm going to be a man on an island basically by himself when it comes. Daniel Erspalmer, who is a head up the Pelican Institute, is the first guy that's going to come on today after 10 while we should have it. And that's what I want. I want to hear from that side. So I think it'll be a good discussion and people get a chance to hear from the other side. They're going to hear a lot more of that than they will on why not to have it. But anyway, we'll get to that in the second hour. First of all, Attorney General Jeff Landry, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. Well, I'm not good. It's good morning.
You got to see Maddie. You were smiling when you saw Maddie.
Right. You're exactly right. I mean, believe you me, that's been the brightest thing I've been able to see all day. I mean, it's been a frustrating 24 hours.
Yeah, I know it is, and I followed it. I actually got some clips and things from the Bond Commission yesterday, and I want you to listen. If you read the newspapers and the press, they're all backing Edwards. It's just amazing. And I'm not saying they didn't give y'all a little pub on it, but it's all negative pub in my opinion. So let's back up. What are we trying to do because of these big banks are now taking a stand against the Second Amendment, Jeff? So let's start there.
How about we set the stage with a little bit of history, Moon?
All right.
First thing is that, this country, was able to form itself, and we were able to form this great free democracy because of the Revolutionary War, which started at Lexington and Concord, right? And the question everybody should remember is, why Lexington and Concord? Why were the British going to Lexington and Concord? Why did the first battle take place there? You know why? Because the British were on their way to seize the guns, to seize the colonists' guns. The king had ordered that all arms be seized from the colonists. Why? Because that was the only, they can't defend themselves, he could oppress them.
Yeah.
So that was why we ended up with the Second Amendment. So now that we have a base here and everyone understands why we hold our Second Amendment so sacrosanct in this country, here's what the problem is. We got some banks, right, who, by the way, in 2008, collectively fleeced the taxpayers for $700 billion. Okay?
That's $700 billion.
That's right. That's like 300 less than $1 trillion. Okay? Now, these guys needed $700 billion to stay afloat, and they now have decided, they run their bank so well they needed $700 billion. Now they've decided to become the social police. And so Citigroup and Bank of America basically have put out a policy where they hereby, where what they said was they now will no longer do business with retailers or gun manufacturers who sell firearms to people under 21 years of age, or assault-type weapons, high-capacity magazines.
Can't any gun considered an assault if they use it in the wrong way?
Well,
I'm just asking.
No, but I mean, look, Moon, the whole problem with this is it certainly is subjective instead of objective, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. But think about this. This is what it reminds me of is fascism, okay? This is what this is.
I think it's a good point.
I mean, this is fascism at its best. Liberalism is turning this country into a fascism. Now, of course, they complain, the liberals complain that it's Trump that is the fascist. But I would beg to argue that
they flipped it. They know what they are, so
right.
They accuse the other one of it. That's
exactly right. They can tell because they can look in the mirror. But so what we did was I visited with our treasurer. We got a great treasurer. John Schroeder is just a great guy.
Hard, yeah.
He is. He's always been a stalwart conservative. And Senator Kennedy sent a letter to the Bond Commission, to everybody in the Bond Commission, including the Lieutenant Governor, who, by the way, said he didn't get notice. All right? Senator Kennedy sent everyone a letter, putting them on notice that the banks had put in this policy and it was troubling. And then the governor responded to Senator Kennedy by basically affirming how he believed in the Second Amendment, but basically said that this was really up to the treasurer now to be able to deal with these financial institutions. That's what this letter basically said. Okay? So the treasurer decides, puts on the agenda to discuss this issue at a special meeting that was called yesterday as we prepare to put out a proposal for $600 million in infrastructure bonds, okay, called Garvey bonds. I won't get into the weeds in that, but basically the state's going to go out and raise money to do some infrastructure projects, which we absolutely need. The treasurer calls Bank of America and Citigroup up. They come to the table and they say they can't answer any questions. Their CEOs didn't have enough time to come. Their schedule was too busy. But that they would like to meet with us individually. Individually. They don't want to discuss this in the open.
In public. But the money was given in public.
Oh, yeah. Well, their policy certainly. They didn't call us and say, hey, look, we're thinking about doing this policy.
They didn't do that? They didn't do that privately?
Okay. No. They didn't do that privately. So the treasurer puts forth a resolution after that says that when we go out for the proposal of these bonds, that the state will not consider any financial institution who basically has a policy which would otherwise infringe upon the Second Amendment. Now, in Louisiana, the voters out, all these listeners out there voted, they probably remember this, a constitutional amendment to reaffirm our Second Amendment right. I mean, our Second Amendment right in this country, if you violate it, the basis of the violation has to withhold strict scrutiny, which is the highest bar, okay, that you have to meet in court. Strict scrutiny, which means that we love our guns. That's basically what it says.
Well, we love the Second Amendment.
Well that's right. We love a right to do that.
Yeah.
I love the right to go out and purchase my guns. I love the right to have them. I think it's an important right.
And you hope you never use them except to hunt.
That's exactly right.
That's not what it's for.
That's exactly right. And so he puts this resolution up. Well, immediately, Jay Darden, Matthew Block, Eric LaFleur.
Block's in that same chair, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Have a problem with it. Now, I thought the governor, in the letter he sent prior to this, had said how he's a big Second Amendment supporter.
Yeah, he did.
And, of course, they do what they do best, what liberals do best, and they try to cloud the issue. Like it's somebody, oh, well, we know. And then Jay Darden makes the statement that, well, by restricting these banks, we could be costing the state money. So what that means is, let me interpret that for you, Moon. What that means is that every listener's out there, their Second Amendment right, according to our governor, is for sale.
Wow.
That's his comment. That is Jay Darden's comment. He's the spokesman for the governor. That is what he says. You can go
on this show. He's the co-governor. But go ahead. I'll get your point.
Okay. He basically told every Louisianian out there that your Second Amendment right, make no mistake about it, is for sale.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Wow.
All right. So they had an opportunity to put this to bed yesterday. Matthew Block offers up an amendment, a substitute to Treasurer Schroeder's resolution, okay, by which Representative Blake Miguez did a great job, unbelievable job, okay, in explaining the process.
It was basically you, Blake, and Schroeder, basically, trying to explain this.
Right. And so Block waters it down, all right?
Typical.
But the great thing about it, and I hope they're listening out there, is what they did is they gave us a second bite at the apple. We're going to give them an opportunity, but they probably made a mistake, Moon. The governor said he's for the Second Amendment. He's going to get an opportunity. Because according to Block's new policy, is that we're going to take that into account when those financial institutions come before the Bond Commission. So they're going to get to go on the record. We're going to see what the governor says about that. What's amazing about the governor and his position on the Second Amendment is there are many pro-gun bills moving through the legislature right now. Is he helping them? He has not said a thing.
Okay.
And no one has asked him.
I want to know this question, because I had this written down. If he's not helping us with the pro-gun amendments, he's at least trying to block the ones that are anti-Second Amendment. Because, Karen Carter Peterson, head Democrat, said, get rid of all guns, get rid of Second Amendment. That's in John Bel Edwards' party. So my question is he helping to beat? I have not seen his name mentioned anywhere helping to beat the bad bills that are trying to work.
No, because you know why? Because people like Tyler Bridges and Mark Balladin don't ask him that question.
No, Jim Beam.
Jim Beam. They don't ask that question. No. They don't ask the question, well, Governor, No,
Lanny Keller writes him a new puff piece almost every day.
Right. So I think the question should be asked of the governor. Show us the bills you support and don't support in regard to the Second Amendment. I mean, just don't tell us. Show us.
But the bottom line is he only wants you to know he's for that. When it comes to details, he's not going to touch it. Let me take a break. Attorney General Jeff Landry of the great state of Louisiana joining us. Bond Commission yesterday. They really had a good deal going, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And if you're a Second Amendment fighter, then fight for the things that are right. That's not what's taking place. Anyway, Jeff Landry will be right back. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with him. Jeff Landry, Attorney General of the great state of Louisiana, our special guest, going to be in the house for the whole hour. Jeff, first of all, thanks for coming by. But I know we don't get to visit as much, but I appreciate you when you take a little time.
Oh, look,
I appreciate the love. How about that?
Well, let me tell you something. I enjoy it. I love coming in the studio. I always say I got one of them radio faces, man.
Okay,
just like
too.
you.
I do. Oh yeah, I know. Huh?
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to catch that.
He said that right.
See that? Yeah. I was checking on
laughing at me. All right. We'll see you start laughing at Maddie laughing. I'm telling you, the rest of the show will be over. Bond Commission yesterday, of course, headlines. One of the headlines was banks' gun policies become focus in financing plan for Louisiana road projects. And they should. Here's my question for you. This is Bank of America and Citigroup. I love what you said a while ago. You said, we'll talk to y'all privately, CEOs, we'll visit them privately, but they didn't make their policy private. They made it very public. We're not dealing with you people. So now you want to make it public. Okay, we want to talk about your public deal we talk privately. But it sounds like John Alario, who, by the way, the other day said, I don't like to make deals in public. I thought John's been there 400 years. My problem is they don't want to make the deal in public, but they said it in public, and they didn't call you first and say, hey, Mr. Attorney General or Mr. Treasurer, we're going to do this policy. How's that going to affect us doing business in Louisiana? They didn't call you, did they?
No.
I think that's a great point you made.
They didn't. And not only that, but when is it in this country did corporate America decide to create policy for the people of this country? Can I
tell you why? And just my opinion, and let you talk about it. They got $700 million.
Billion.
You're right. I'm sorry. Almost $1 trillion. How about
That's
that?
right.
They don't think they got it from me and Brandon and you. The government gave it to them.
Yeah.
So somebody in the government said, "Look, we're trying to get rid of guns. Look what we did." So to them, they got the money from government, not from the taxpayers.
Right.
Am I making a good enough deal for you?
No, you're
right.
So
they don't think they got it from us.
No,
they
you're
think
right.
they got it from government, and government could shut them down because they quote regulate them. I don't regulate the banks; government does. So I think they feel so. There must be some pressure from government. I'm just guessing.
Well, no. What it is it's liberal interests that are frustrated. This is akin to what we saw during the Obama years. When our democratic system, in their minds, okay, doesn't conduct the business of the government in the way that they see it, when the laws are not written to their benefit or the way they believe they should be benefited, then what they do is they decide to take it upon themselves. Okay? Fascism, anarchy. That's what that is. In other words, the
swamp is run. I don't care who's president, representative. The bureaucracy is run by the left. That's what the swamp is. Now, I'm not saying somebody ain't Republicans, because they are, but it's run by the swamp. So that's the ones putting pressure on these banks saying, look, we gave you all this money. No, you took that from me.
Yeah, no. Look, let me tell you, this is a great example, okay, why the American people, and look, here's what I don't think these banks understand. That bailout is what caused the movement in this country in 2010. This is what swept all of those Democrats out of the House, all right? And to have the audacity of those financial institutions, okay, to believe that they can set government policy when they can't even run their business right. Think about that, Moon.
Yeah, they needed the money to stay in business.
So they so good, they need a $700 billion bailout, but now they want to tell me and you how to run our lives. They can't run their banks.
But well, here's another thing. It goes back, let's just look at the environmental movement with the craziness of climate change. Big businesses have, including banks, have all bogged into that because the bureaucracy said, if you want to stay in business, we regulate you. you're going to say man-made global warming's real. You got businesses going, hey, even oil companies going, hey, man, this is real. We got to do something to curb it. Why? You don't want us to get on you? You don't want us to beat you? You better agree with us. Well, and they put the pressure on them to beat them, and so they start saying things I don't think they believe in.
Well, here's what I want to know. Where is the ACLU? That is a discriminatory policy. Age discrimination is enshrined in our Constitution here. The federal government recognizes age discrimination as well. I mean, let me ask you a question. If those financial institutions all of a sudden said, you know what, government, we're not going to close on homes. We're not going to finance homes for people over 60 anymore. You know, because 30 years, I mean, they're going to be gone. What you think would happen? Think the ACLU would be out there? So why is it any different? And here's what into the facts of it, Moon, here's what I don't understand. You realize there's no age limit to buy a car. None.
Correct.
Okay? 37,000 automobile fatalities in this country a year. All right? You see, when the banks might say, well, that's way too much, which I think it is. Everybody, we hate to see it, right? They might say, well, we're going to quit doing business with automobile dealers. Maybe automobile manufacturers. Because here's an interesting statistic. That's 3 times as many homicides. In other words, there's 3 times as many fatalities by automobiles than there are murders in the United States.
Oh, yeah, but what if, I think it's a great idea. What if they decide not to do that anymore?
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff Landry, Attorney General, great state of Louisiana. Interesting bond commission yesterday. And I want to get back, because the governor said it's almost cost us $600 million on the road. And I think that's a bunch of bunk, but the press is writing that today. We'll get back. Attorney General Jeff Landry, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Hickson has a hotline, 844-766-6607. All right, Jeff Landry, Attorney General for the great state of Louisiana, my special guest at a big bond commission deal dealing with gun rights. And we found out where the governor stands. He's not fighting for the gun rights, and I think you made a good point. Gun rights are for sale for $600 million.
Yeah. That's a price tag.
That's the price tag for selling our Second Amendment.
Well, not even for $600 million. Just that it could delay $600 million. So that's even more onerous. I mean, it's just even more vulgar when you think about it, more offensive. And that basically. That's
what I was showing you right there, Brandon. John Kennedy's on the air dealing with he didn't. One article said he never said a word on the committee. It just passed the committee to protect Mueller, and I was disappointed. He usually talks, but anyway.
But yeah,
Jeff, what happens though? So they act like Citigroup and Bank of America are the only two. That's what I was going to ask you. Are they the only two?
No, they're not.
You couldn't have moved them out the way and went to somebody else?
Yes. There are a minimum. Okay, minimum. That means the least amount. Okay.
This is for people in Balkanville.
That's for the governor.
Okay.
All right. So least 7 banks, okay, that participate in this type of proposal.
Okay.
Around the country. Yeah.
So I don't see why defend it for these 2 banks then.
Right. Well, you know why? Because you're defending their policies. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, let's just say it for what it is. The governor is defending Citigroup and Bank of America's policies. He has the ability. Look, I would be the first person to say, the governor did the right thing. If he stood up today and said, you know what? The people that represented me on the bond commission yesterday clearly didn't understand. And that because the governor has gone many times, say, I don't put up with discrimination in the state of Louisiana. That's what he says all the time. You can go back and look at it. And we're not going to have these types of policies. He had the ability to put this thing to bed yesterday, Moon, and he refused to do it. But what's worse than that is he did it and then told the people of the state of Louisiana he supports the Second Amendment.
By the way, just for people to know, Bank of America, Citigroup hasn't done business with the state during the past 3 years. Bank of America is handling $425 million in loans and has a processing contract with the state, according to John Schroeder. He said Louisiana's 1,486 dealers, gunsmiths, pawnbrokers with federal licenses who are allowed under state law to sell firearms to 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
So don't come with this 21-year-old stuff.
Yeah. And let me just say this. Watch this. I'm going to tell you what it's really about, Moon. See, Citigroup is a big participant in these types of Garvey bonds, and the Department of Transportation has a good, interesting relationship with Citigroup. And if this policy wouldn't have taken place, and if we'd have gone about our business, I can promise you, Citigroup would have been the one that was going to end up with these bonds. Which, you know what? If they didn't have this policy, I really don't care. Okay? But the fact of the matter is that these people out here trying to dictate to the citizens of this state their Second Amendment right.
Well, the 8 people that voted basically wrong, according to what I'm reading, is did Matthew Block vote?
Yeah, he voted for the governor.
Okay. Deputy Secretary Richard Hawley for Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser.
Disappointing.
Very disappointing. Undersecretary of Management and Finance Joe Salter for Secretary of State Tom Shelton.
Disappointing.
Disheartening. John Alario doesn't surprise me. He goes whatever government. Eric LaFleur doesn't surprise me. Jay Lunatic, Senator Lunatic from Alexander doesn't surprise me. John Smith, Republican of Leesville. And, of course, Commission of Administration, co-governor Jay Dorton. I mean, this thing's kind of stacked for something like this when I look at these. But Nungesser? Nungesser's going to run around here. By the way, Nungesser comes on here. We'll ask Nungesser next time he comes on. I'm going to ask him why in the hell would he vote like this.
Yeah.
Shedler ain't really going on a lot of
and
programs.
I can tell you what, I was and I read in the paper this morning that the lieutenant governor basically tries to throw me and the treasurer under the bus, saying we didn't let him know. Well, guess what? Last bond commission meeting, 1 week ago, everybody got a letter, including the lieutenant governor from John Kennedy. This was on the agenda.
I'm tired of the excuses of, well, I didn't know. Well, you don't know your job? I'm not talking about just Nungesser. You.
No,
I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know?
Right, it's our job to know.
Think about this day and time with the ways to communicate. Cell phone, texting, regular phones, emails, people still fax, YouTube, Facebook, what they got, Twitter, am I missing something? There's all kind of ways to communicate here.
Well, watch this. Here's how the lieutenant governor can fix himself. I mean, listen, everybody makes mistakes. I get it. All right. He can go out right now and he can make a statement that from here on out, he doesn't believe that Citigroup and Bank of America should be able to do business with the state of Louisiana. He can say right now that anytime this issue comes out in the bond commission, he will be voting to ensure that those financial institutions who engage in policies like that don't do business with the state. He could do that.
Absolutely. But Nungesser wants to run again. This is going to be a campaign ad for a Republican.
Well, I'm running again.
No, what I'm saying is, I know that, but I'm saying Shedler's not. But Nungesser is going to run again. Somebody's going to use this against him because it's a bad vote.
No, okay.
I think you're right on the money. I think y'all were right on the money. It's just a matter of convincing enough people. But this thing's kind of set up. Alario votes with the governor. Alario, who's the governor? I'm the same. I'll vote whatever you need.
Look, I think I firmly believed we had it 8-6. Okay, because I thought for sure that the lieutenant governor,
Shedler and the lieutenant governor. Nungesser.
I mean, look, I think if you are listening out there and you appreciate the Second Amendment, this is an issue that you really need to get involved in. This is how your liberties and your freedoms are slowly eroded to the point where it's like sheep. They just lull you to sleep. But this is exactly the way that they take away your freedom.
See, Dorton's not running again because he's co-governor. This is another horrendous vote for him. He's not a fiscal conservative. He's not a social conservative. He's not for the Second Amendment. His voting rate, and people in Baton Rouge think he's some kind of king. Just a few people, but they think he's some kind of, this guy's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He makes one bad vote after another, and he's still voting bad. I'm just trying. He's a Republican. John Smith, senator from Leesville, is a Republican. Now, if Republicans are not voting for us, we got problems.
Well, we've always had a problem in the Senate. We hoping to fix that in 2019. About a bunch of seats open. You're going to have a great time next year. Man, it's going to be a boom.
I just want to have fun.
Well, you better have a whole bunch of fun. But, look, and I can tell you, if you're listening out there and you just cannot believe what you're hearing, you can take some action. You can call the governor and ask him to show us how he supports the Second Amendment. You can call the mayor of your city. You can call the parish president or your parish councilman, and you can ask them to pass a resolution very similar to the one we attempted to pass yesterday. And tell your local governments, because local governments use, those financial institutions.
They do the same thing. Yeah.
Yes, and basically make a statement. Okay, make a statement out there that, you know what, corporate America is not the social police. All right? The ability to set public policy in this state and in this country belong in the halls of our legislature in Baton Rouge and in Washington.
But let me tell you something. When you got money going back to any kind of business, the government bureaucracy is telling them, here's what we need you to do. I want to send this out at the break. This is to the governor from me and the people. Listen to it. This is to Governor Edwards, then we'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it. Hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Jeff Landry, Attorney General. One more segment with Jeff. And really, we talked about the bond issue, and Jeff, I always say we ought to play what's off there on there, and you made a good comment when it's coming back. Go read the paper. It's about Shedler, Tom Shedler, the Secretary of State, who he's got some problems that he's got to deal with. He's not running anymore. And that's the headlines. Oh, we got his emails. Well, what about this? What about the Second Amendment?
While banks infringe upon our Second Amendment rights. But you don't hear any of that in the paper.
I'm looking at the votes now a little bit more at the break. And let me give fairness. John Schroeder, Jeff Landry, Taylor Barra, Stephen Dwight, Blake Miguez, who you already mentioned was a big part of it.
Huge.
And Raymond Cruz voted right.
Right.
They voted right. But
they voted. You know what they voted? They voted to protect our citizens' Second Amendment.
But you got 4 Republicans. I don't know what Matthew Block is. My gut feeling is when you say liberal Democrat, just keep going left. I had him here. I understand that. Billy Nunez, a Republican. Tom Shedler, Republican. John Alario, Republican. John Smith, Republican. Jay Dorn, Republican. All voted to hurt us. They are Republicans.
Is Jay still a Republican? The government might have made him switch.
Jordan?
Might have.
Oh, no. You don't understand something. They want that look. Republican, Democrats work together. You know what I mean? Oh, they're working together. You see, when they take a good Republican and a good Democrat, they work together. Never mind, they're both very liberal. And then the co-governorship. I'll say it again, the co-governorship has failed. It's not worked. It hasn't worked at all. And anyway, it's amazing to watch this many Republicans, that you've got other companies. I'm not going by what you told me. Other companies who are waiting there to jump on these bonds and take care of that stuff.
That's right.
Other companies who didn't make a public...
Right.
Who
have not put in this type of policy, who respect the fact that the free market should operate in one sphere and public policy is designed for the government sphere.
It was $700 million coming from me and you.
Billion, Moon. I know, Moon. That's tough.
I know, billion.
You're missing zeros, Moon.
Okay, well, I made a lot of zeros.
A lot more than me and you ever
I got to
seen.
get you out of here in 5 minutes because you got something else you know how to do. So, does this process happen again, or is it over?
Yeah, look, I mean, look, we're going to get an opportunity. The evaluation team is going to go out and put a proposal out for these institutions to put a proposal together. If Bank of America and if Citigroup decides to participate in this particular exercise, this RFP, then the evaluation team is going to come back to us and say, okay, these 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 banks have each turned in a proposal. And the team is going to be required to tell us which one of those banks, which we already know. See, that's the ridiculousness.
You already know what 2 banks have did the wrong thing.
Well, you're right. But they're going to tell us which one of those banks have policies that would otherwise infringe upon our citizens' Second Amendment rights. And then the bond commission gets another opportunity to disqualify them and say, we're just not going to do business with them. That's what's so ridiculous. It's like, they just can't help but kick the can down the road.
You know what's funny? If the governor was really honor code and was really a Second Amendment supporter, y'all shouldn't be fighting his people.
No.
They ought to be leading the charge.
Right. I should be able to...
Well, sooner or later, he's got to prove that he's for the Second Amendment because he's not fighting against the bad bills and he's not fighting for the good bills. Where is he? Nobody wants to get his stands on the Second Amendment. They just let him say, well, I believe in the Second Amendment. That's not enough in his position. Yeah. It's enough for me. It's not enough in your position, in his position.
Yeah, he believes he gets a pass because he went to West Point. That's what it is. Just like a pass. I saw a post the other day. They got a Marxist that went through West Point now.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
Don't tell me. You should show me. And you're right, Moon. Look, I'd be the first one about to come in there and say, you know what, Moon? We did a great thing. It had taken us only one segment. So you know what? It was going to be a great day. Republicans and Democrats. That's what the governor always want, right? Want to work together. This was his opportunity.
But they never, even when I'm looking through the legislature dealing with taxes, if they do it his way, it's working together.
That's
if
right.
you do it their way,
you're against this. You're an obstructionist. That's exactly right. But look, he gets another chance. He could say something.
He's not said one.
Well, he said a lot. He just ain't done a lot.
He's not said one thing against the bad gun bills. He never came out and made remarks when Karen Carter Peterson, who heads the Democrat Party, said, we want to get rid of the Second Amendment. I never heard him jump up and go, oh, no, she is totally off of rockers. Nothing. Because he knows the Black Caucus, he's got to have them. He's got to own them. If he doesn't, he's in trouble. And so he can't say anything.
That's right.
Because most of the bills that are coming out are done by mostly the Black Caucus. And he can't go there.
And you know, again, Moon,
that's me talking, Jeff, not you. That's me.
I'm telling you, the listeners out there, they really, I would encourage them to get involved in this particular issue. Really, you can call your mayor, you can call your parish president, you can call your parish councilman. By all means, call the governor's office.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't just ask him where he stands. Demand that he take some action. This is an opportunity for Louisianans to stand up to corporate America so they don't come in here and tell us how to run our lives and have the ability to take away our guns.
They may come in here one day and say, we'll do business with y'all, but we want you to double your property taxes. Oh, no. They want us to double our property taxes, and we can't get the money if we don't. Or you know, they're going to.
Well, you know what? They're the first one. I'm going to tell you this. They're going to be the first ones. They're going to be the first ones to want, when this country's under threat, those 18-year-olds to go defend them. But they won't sell them a gun.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they're gonna. You're right. Jeff Landry, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Moon.
God
always
bless.
a pleasure.
I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you. You have a great weekend, Maddie. Always great to see you.
I'm not saying Maddie wants you to leave.
Well,
but Maddie wants you to leave.
It's okay.
But Jeff, I'm trying to get Jeff to understand something. You in her territory. This little girl right here is all about the same thing over and over again. Routine.
Yeah.
So her routine is there. That's why you see her fitted.
Look, I can appreciate that. And I'm used to people wanting me to leave anyhow, Moon.
Well, she wants you to leave for different reasons. That's her chair. Jeff, God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Of course, that was Attorney General. Hold up, Brandon. Let me do this for that. Thank you, Jeff. That was Attorney General Jeff Landry. Bond committee. I got Brandon. I should have gave it to you before the program, but I knew I have Daniel Ertzpalmer coming on about the Constitutional Convention. By the way, he's for it. He's going to tell us why it's a good idea. We're going to get a chance to visit with him. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'll be able to go back and forth with him. I got my reasons for not having it. I know there's reasons for having it, but I think you can do this way better, more better than just going to a Constitutional Convention behind closed doors, so we can have a lot of crab stew cooked by John Alario. Because you remember, Brandon, he said the other day, he didn't like to negotiate in public. That's out of his mouth, not mine. He don't like to negotiate in public. But here's the funny thing about that. It's the people's business. All this stuff should be done in public. You don't need a Constitutional Convention. You need 5 amendments to get it straight. And so that's what we need. So we'll get a chance to visit with him. And I do want to get this out. Brandon, we talked about it the other day. All of them. I'm hoping Senator DeVito will eventually come. He's the guy that helped get the 2/3 vote for taxes and fees. He's the guy that helped get term limits going. Okay, so we want to hear from everybody. And as I told you, I'll be standing on the island with not many people on the island with me on this one. But I think I'll be right if we have one. I believe in all my heart we'll be right if we have one. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to like some things in it. But ultimately, this is what will happen. You will pay more taxes. The middle class will pay more taxes. Small business will pay more taxes. That's not a good trade-off to me. What are we going to get? What's the guarantee? Who's going to the convention? All those things need to be answered. And I don't like the way this thing is set up when you can do it publicly. I think Paul Hurd was right about 5 amendments could do everything you need to do, and we can all know up front what the amendments are. We don't have to have closed rooms and deals cut in the back and John Alario saying, I don't like to make deals in public. His comment's not mine. Why does he have to be there? Why does Darden have to be there? And if the press is only going to push the people, and why do some of the big business people got to be there? People that we see in the news every day. So who's going to be there? All that stuff matters. Anyway, we'll visit with Daniel right after the top of the hour. Looking forward to it. Appreciate Jeff Landry coming in. Yeah, disappointment. Republicans, Billy Nungesser, Tom Shetler, John Alario, Republican, John Smith, and, of course, the leftist Jay Darden. Shot us down. No pun intended there, folks. We're going to take a break. Be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.